5, ladies and gentlemen. 5 of the top 20 seeds are left for the round of 16, round 5 of the FIDE World Cup 2025. And not all of them are still there. We've reached the round of 16. In this video, 4 players book their spot to the quarterfinals, and 4 more will go to tiebreaks. One of these men, Levon Aronian and Arjun Erigaisi, will make it to the quarterfinals. By the way, both of them are top 20 seeds, and if Arjun knocks out Levon Aronian is the only player left in the field who has played the candidates before. Otherwise, we are guaranteed 3 players who have never played in the candidates before. Levon has got the white pieces. This is game 2. e4, e5, knight f3, knight to c6, bishop to c4, an Italian game. Bishop to c5, gioco piano, we get c3, knight to f6, and d3, which is gioco pianissimo, or the quiet variation. a5, short castles, d6, rook to e1, short castles. This has all been seen before, pretty standard stuff. Bishop to b5, bishop a7. As strange as it looks, white is preparing to play d4. The players have spent no time getting here, so I don't see the point in spending time getting here either. Knight to g6, knight to g3. Both sides preparing to seize on their respective squares here on f4 and f5. We get c6. The bishop drops back to f1. Silly as it may look, there's really nowhere else to go. You obviously can't go here. Going here is stupid because you kind of hang this. And going to e2, you're going to hang that in the process. So bishop to g4. Bishop to e3, e takes d4, pawn takes d4, and now d5. We push, play e5, knight e8. Looks silly, but there's nowhere really else for the knight to go. You can't go to h5, and you can't really jump into the center. You can, but I don't have to take. It's not checkers. I don't have to take and then lose a knight. And even here, there's, what? h3. You don't have to go into all of this. So knight to e8, bishop to e2, f6, and now we capture. Knight comes back, and queen to b3. Targeting some stuff. We now capture once and play queen to d7. Just defending our weakness, still maintaining defense of this. And it's a quiet-ish game. Rook a to d1, h6. Bishop to e2, getting out the way. Rook a e8, looks silly, but you've already got a beautiful rook here on the f-file. So there's no need to continue to leave it there. We reroute our bishop to target the knight. Where's that knight going? Goes to h4. I don't know what its plan is, because it might get stuck here. It can't go back unless you somehow defend that square with something like queen to f7. And you can't go this way. So I don't know what that knight's future prospects are. f3, knight to h7. What are those knight's future prospects? Bishop to b1, knight to g5. Ladies and gentlemen, there is something brewing here that Arjun Erigaisi is cooking up. He is cooking up something so devilish. Levon Aronian is in a surprising amount of trouble. The engine says he's fine, but he's got to find just about only moves. In this position, there are 2 moves for him not to be worse. There are f4 and there are queen c2. He chooses the worst of the 2, but still level. Queen c2. Now g6. Again, only a couple of options. He plays king to h1, which is fine. Queen to f7. Queen to e2, queen to f2. Bishop to b8. Arjun Erigaisi has just taken initiative, and Levon Aronian's king is not safe. Knight to f1. You know it is bad when you are forced to play knight to f1. You are defending h2, right? Knight on f8, knight on f1, never mate, right? Well, knight to f5. Remember the future prospects I spoke about of that knight? Well, it's come to fruition. We play bishop to d2 because we do not want them to take our bishop. That is the one advantage that Levon Aronian has, is that he's got 2 bishops. But now bishop to c7. Awaiting move, defending the pawn that you were attacking. Patient. Knight to e3. And now Arjun Erigaisi strikes. Plays the only move that holds for black. He captures. Knight takes e3. Bishop takes e3. And now king g7. Simple move. But the pressure cooker finally tells Levon Aronian, who has been superb throughout the tournament. Just by the way, Levon Aronian beat Salem Saleh, beat Radoslav Wojciech, beat Ariane Ghosh, had a bye, has not gone to tiebreaks in any of his games. Levon Aronian played queen f1 and lost on the spot. Arjun Erigaisi is completely winning. If he plays bishop takes h2. He doesn't. He plays rook e6, which now allows bishop to g1, and the idea is gone. But we get rook f e8. He has doubled his rooks. He still maintains the edge as the players now get into time trouble. Rook takes e6, rook takes e6, and a3. No. h5, queen f2, queen f4. Problems all the time. And this game is 2 more moves. As here, Levon Aronian played rook to e1 and lost the game on the spot to a knight sacrifice. Knight to h3. What is the problem? The problem is you cannot take the knight. You cannot take the knight. Why? Because rook takes e1 wins on the spot. Because I'm threatening to take this. You cannot take because you get mated. Or you get mated. And I'm threatening to just take all of your bishops. And there is nothing you can do. The best thing here to do is to play bishop takes g6. At which point king takes g6 is completely fine. And you're still buggered. An unbelievable finish to this game. Levon Aronian is out. We will have 3 players who have never played a candidates match before in the candidates. Right. I do not want to spoil the next game, so I'm going to quickly get rid of this window and switch over to the next game. I've got all 4 games for you of the 4 confirmed quarterfinalists. Next game I have for you, Yakubboev and Sindarov versus Frederick Svane. The Germans have been exceptional. They are on a fantastic run. Frederick Svane, Matthias Blubom, Donchenko, Keimer. But Keimer is out. Blubom is out. I think Rasmus Svane is out. Frederick Svane is still in. He's one of the 2 Germans. e4, e5. Knight to f3, knight to c6. Bishop to c4, knight f6. It is a knight defense. Now you and I, when we play this position, we go for this. We just go for fried liver kind of stuff. They don't play that at GM level, unfortunately, because they're boring. So we get d3. So a different type of Italian game because we have the knight's defense, but a very similar structure. Except, look at this. Yakubboev and Sindarov pushing his pawns. Now, because I've been away, this is actually game 1. Their second game ends in a draw. The winner of this game is in the quarterfinals. I'm showing you only decisive games. But the winner of this is in the semifinals. I'm showing you game 1. I wasn't able to cover it yesterday because I was writing an exam. Oh, sorry. I need to take a sip of water. I hope you'll forgive me. I was writing a physics exam yesterday. So I recorded the preview for the Speed Chess Championship. And then I was studying most of the time. So I was not able to record a video. Bishop to g4. Queen to c2. Now queen to d7. Rook to e1. So similar moves that we've seen before with the knights, but a different plan. The dark squared bishop going out this way, not going to e3. But we do get to see the knight coming this way. Now probably, if we can relieve the pressure from this bishop, we would still get knight to f1, knight to g3. But now you kind of struggle to do that because I might sacrifice and then swing my queen in. So Frederick Svane definitely applying significant pressure. So we get bishop to f1, which we saw before. We get this capture now, giving white 2 bishops again, just like we saw in the previous game. But now look at that, queen g4. Sindarov only has one move. He finds it, king to h1. Knight to h3. Frederick Swane is doing everything right. But Sindarov holds on, rook e3. Knight to g5. h3. Queen slides over, now we take. Take, and now we bring the rook. Sindarov is playing a perfect game of chess. Every important move he is finding, and knight to h5 is a step wrong, and Sindarov is better. He plays g3, rook to e7, bishop to b2, rook f8. He's just better. It's hard to know why, but he has 2 bishops and a much safer king, and you've doubled your rooks, which look great, but you have to capture here to open them up and pose a threat. But I can just also double my rooks, and you can play queen f6, that's fine. King to g2, queen to e6, rook f3, knight f6, now I can take. And all your effort, you can't take this back. Well, you can. You can take it back, but now I've got like bishop to a3. And you can play rook d7, but I've just got like c4, and I'm completely fine, and I'm much better. It's a crazy, crazy turnaround. So we have to give up the pawn, allow you to take again, and just give up a pawn to Yakubboev and Sindarov, but hope that this is something. Rook f4, knight e5, rook d1, rook d7, bishop slides over, queen e7. I trade once. Bring the rook, bring the bishop back. Play h4, knight to g6. Frederick Swane is still doing as much as he can, but we get the queen trade and bishop to f3, rook e5, no rook trade until now. If one of these players is to win, they're going to have to do it in time trouble in an endgame. And not only in an endgame. If this falls the wrong way in an opposite colored bishop endgame, which are the hardest to win, but one of these players is going to do it. But they're in a minor piece endgame, and it's 2 bishops versus knight bishop, and Yakubboev and Sindarov does everything right. He pushes through his pawns, he kicks out the knight, he uses his bishops. Bishops are long-range pieces, and he just pushes through his pawn, and he gets everything right. He gets everything that he could have wanted. He kicks the bishop away, he wins the pawn, and he eventually snaps off the knight. King takes, and I've got this. And you cannot stop this. And Yakubboev and Sindarov wins, and he too will be going through to the quarter-finals. As will another man, as will another Uzbek player. Another Uzbekistan player. And his name is Nordibek. Not Nordibek Yakubboev, not Nordibek Abdusatorov, but Nordibek Yakubboev. This is their second game, the first game ending in a draw. He plays a Queen's Gambit declined, a very interesting system, as he long castles and sets up his pieces for a fight, and honestly, plays not a perfect game, but just a beautiful game. A beautiful game. His pieces got kicked around and he was under significant pressure. But he castled long, he allowed an attack, he blockaded everything, he allowed the rook trade, allowed black to get just about everything they wanted. But in the end, he swarms Sargissian's king. One mistake from Sargissian, and his king was hunted. Look at Nordibek Yakubboev. 35 moves, he wins with queen to c5. His king is on d2. But just a beautiful, beautiful attacking game. And if you're looking at this position, you're like, I would never resign here. Well, so would I. But it's +4. It was an effortless win. And that takes us to the final game of the video. And that is a very, very interesting matchup. Because as you can see on the screen, it is Sam Sevian versus Wei Yi, who've had very interesting parts to get you. Sam Sevian got a bye in round 1. Had to get past Jingao Tin in tiebreaks. got past Evengi Nager, and in the last round, in tiebreaks, in a lot of tiebreak games, got past Lorenzo Ludici, who had a fantastic tournament. And despite the fact that Sam Sevian has gotten this far, he's losing 13 rating points. So the World Cup is so interesting because they're playing players and they're not doing so well. Wei Yi had a bye, won his first 2 rounds in convincing fashion. Maybe his second round or the third round was a bit. Then went to tiebreaks against Parham Maksudlu. Neither of these players are going to tiebreaks in this game. Wei Yi has got the white pieces. This is game 2. E4, E5. And we see a 4 knights game. This has draw written all over it. Bishop to b5, bishop to b4. Short castles, short castles. The players are just copying each other. Bishop takes c4. You would half expect bishop takes c3. Not gonna lie. You would half expect it. But that's not quite what happens. We get d takes, and now knight takes e5. Which looks like you've won a pawn, but bishop takes, and now we grab here. Again, complete symmetry. Until everything goes wrong. We get bishop to f4, knight to d6, queen f3. A completely inconspicuous position. Sam Sevian plays bishop to f5. And loses the game. To knight takes c6. Now, for you and I, that does not make any sense. But it's a very simple idea. If you take here, I grab this knight. And your bishop hangs. And your rook hangs. So if you move the bishop, I take the rook. So you have to take the bishop back. Probably queen takes d6. And I would grab here. And I've simply won a pawn. A beautiful knight sacrifice to be much better and a pawn up. In a symmetrical endgame. Instead of that, we get queen to d7. We don't take the knight. But the knight comes back to d4. Now it's well placed. It hits the bishop. The bishop moves. I can play just, queen g3. Knight f5. I'm not afraid. Queen to g4. h5. I'm not afraid. Queen h3. Rook ad8. Just rook ae1. Knight takes. We trade queens and we take the bishop. We don't take the knight. We take the bishop. Now we've got bishop versus knight. Knight to e6. We just bring our bishop back to e3. And after that simple opening mistake, Wei Yi just makes Sam Sevian pay. It's actually unbelievable. He makes another mistake and his king just gets dominated. He wins several pawns and he just never looked back. Look at this. Look at this position. Wei Yi's up 2 pawns. Yes, he's probably going to lose this, which he does. But look at this. He's got bishop versus knight. He targets the knight. He, solidifies his bishop. And there's nothing Sam Sevian can do about it. He keeps his king close. He gives up another pawn, but his king is in. And as long as he doesn't blunder his bishop, he just wins. He just wins. Takes. We get all the way here. And you've still got hopes of drawing this, by the way. You've still got hopes of drawing this. But Wei Yi, in simple fashion in the end, after a knight sacrifice, pushes through everything and goes here. And there's nothing you can do. It's Zugzwang. The king can take, but then I walk the pawn through with checks and tempi. And if your knight moves, I mate you. Or kind of, but close. Zugzwang. Beautiful game from Wei Yi. And those are 4 of your quarterfinalists. There are, however, 4 tiebreak games. Jose Martinez and Pentala Harikrishna, Andrei Isapenko and Alexei Grembev, Alexander Donchenko and Lequang Liem, and of course Sam Shankland and Daniel Dubov. Daniel Dubov, who knocked out Pragdananda Ramesh Babu on tiebreaks. And you know what? It is very, very interesting. And we will have players who have never been in the candidates before playing in the candidates. What do you feel about that?